Chicago has always been a city defined by work, from the stockyards to the steel mills, from the trading floors of LaSalle Street to the endless lines of warehouses and logistics hubs. This city has long been a place where jobs tell the story of who we are. But today, a new tool from the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago is changing the way we understand those jobs and the people behind them. For decades, we have measured unemployment through government surveys, monthly reports, and data releases that arrive weeks after the fact. By the time we know what the jobless rate is, the situation on the ground may already be different. But the Chicago Fed has just unveiled a new, real-time unemployment estimate, and the numbers are telling a story that hits close to home. For September, that estimate puts the unemployment rate at 4.3%. On the surface, that number doesn't sound alarming. In fact, it's close to what economists consider normal unemployment in a healthy economy. But behind that figure is a deeper story of shifting jobs, rising layoffs, increased hiring, and the constant churn of a labor market that never stands still. What makes this estimate different is how it's built. Instead of waiting for one survey or one government release, the Chicago Fed combines traditional data with private sector sources, payroll processing from ADP, job postings from Indeed, even search activity from Google. The result is a faster, more responsive picture of how many people are working, how many are losing jobs, and how quickly they are finding new ones. This matters in Chicago because the stakes are high. A city of nearly 3 million people, in a metro area of more than 9 million, lives and breathes by its economy. When jobs are plentiful, neighborhoods thrive. When unemployment rises, communities feel the strain. And in recent years, Chicago has seen both sides of that coin. The pandemic slammed the city, wiping out jobs in hospitality, tourism, and retail. Entire industries collapsed overnight, leaving thousands unemployed. Since then, Chicago has clawed its way back. Restaurants reopened, offices slowly filled again, and the logistics boom created new demand for drivers and warehouse workers. But the recovery has been uneven. While downtown skyscrapers glow again with office lights, many neighborhoods on the south and west sides still face stubbornly high unemployment, limited opportunities, and systemic barriers. The 4.3% number hides those divides. For some, jobs are plentiful, with wages climbing. For others, work is scarce and every paycheck feels like a lifeline. That's why the Chicago Fed's new tool is so important. By providing more frequent updates, it allows us to see shifts in the labor market before they spiral into crises. Policymakers can respond faster, businesses can plan more accurately, and communities can demand action with better evidence. But this also raises tough questions. What does real-time unemployment really mean for the average Chicagoan? Does knowing the number faster actually change anything? Or is it just another data point in a city already drowning in statistics? The answer depends on how we use the information. Take, for example, layoffs. Over the summer, major Chicago employers quietly cut hundreds of positions. Tech companies trimmed staff, manufacturing plants scaled back shifts, hospitals consolidated. None of these moves individually made headlines, but together, they sent shockwaves through the local economy. The traditional unemployment reports wouldn't show the effect until weeks later. But with the Fed's new estimate, the rise in separations shows up almost immediately. That gives unions, city officials, and even workers themselves a chance to react faster, to negotiate, to prepare, to pivot. At the same time, hiring has ticked up in certain industries. Healthcare providers are scrambling to fill nursing positions. Construction companies need skilled tradespeople as billions in infrastructure projects roll out. Logistics firms are still hiring drivers even as demand shifts. The new unemployment tool captures that too, showing how losses in one sector may be offset by gains in another. For workers, the reality is more complicated. A number on a chart doesn't pay the rent. It doesn't guarantee stability. It doesn't tell the full story of people juggling 2 or 3 jobs just to stay afloat. In interviews across the city, workers describe a job market that feels unstable, even when the official rate suggests stability. A laid-off machinist in Cicero says he checks job postings every morning but sees fewer opportunities than before. A hotel housekeeper downtown says her hours were restored, But the cost of living has gone up so much that she feels poorer than she did 3 years ago. A recent college graduate in Bronzeville says she's applied to dozens of jobs and has heard back from only a handful. These voices remind us that unemployment is not just a number, it's a human reality. The 4.3% estimate is being watched closely by City Hall in Springfield. Officials see it as a chance to track the health of Chicago's economy with sharper tools. But it also adds pressure. If unemployment ticks up even slightly, the demand for action will be immediate. There will be calls for job programs, training initiatives, and targeted relief. And in a city already facing budget deficits and political battles, finding resources won't be easy. Economists argue that the tool could also help fight misinformation. In the past, unemployment numbers were weaponized in debates, with one side claiming the economy was thriving and the other warning of collapse. The delays in reporting allowed rumors to fill the gap. Now, with near real-time data, the facts are harder to spin. That doesn't mean politicians won't try, but the playing field has shifted. For businesses, the impact could be just as significant. Employers trying to decide whether to expand, hire, or cut back can now see clearer signals. If unemployment is rising, they may brace for weaker demand. If it's falling, they may push harder to recruit. That dynamic feeds back into the cycle, shaping the job market day by day. Still, some critics warn of over-reliance on new data. Just because we can measure faster doesn't mean we always understand better. The job market is influenced by forces beyond what a number can capture. Automation, globalization, demographic shifts, even weather events. Real-time data can help, but it can also create a false sense of certainty. For Chicagoans living paycheck to paycheck, the question is more urgent. Will the jobs be there tomorrow? Will wages keep up with rent and groceries? Will layoffs hit their industry next? The 4.3% estimate offers a snapshot, but not a guarantee. As the city looks ahead, one thing is clear. Chicago's identity as a city of work is being tested once again. New tools can help us see the storm clouds faster, but only action can keep families safe when the storm hits. So tonight, as we look at that 4.3% figure, remember what it really represents. Behind every decimal point is a story of someone hired, someone fired, someone waiting for a call back. The Chicago Fed's new estimate may be just a number, but it reflects thousands of lives in motion, and how we respond to it will shape the future of this city we call home.